gracious about, how he's talked about his punt coverage teams, bought him the gifts and everything, but just the whole operation from Fox to the coverages. How proud are you of what they were able to accomplish this year?
Yeah, it's awesome. Obviously, it does start with Fox because really, if you don't have a guy who can pound the ball down the field, it's hard to net that 46.2 or whatever it was. But, yeah, obviously proud of all those guys. It took a large contribution from everybody. And then really for Fox, it starts with the snap. And we had a rookie snapper come in. It's been outstanding for us all year long. I've said that over and over. So he's really the next guy. And then Germ or Zeke Turner came in and led the group as the personal protector spot, and we really didn't miss a beat when Zeke came in. That's a credit to him. And then Germ did a great job, obviously. He does a lot for us at that position. He's a quarterback, putting us in and out of calls, punts, all that kind of stuff. So that's been huge. And then, obviously, all those guys protecting. If you get one blocked or have a bad play, it just takes one of those to knock you out of having a stat like that at the end of the year. So really, and then Dorsey on the outside and these gunners on the outside making plays down the field. So it really does take everybody. I mean, it's really, that honor is really everybody's honor on that unit as far as I see it. Fox hit the ball, but the other guys covered it. If they didn't cover it, he's not worth very much. So it's truly a team effort. I'm happy for them, and that the bottom line for us, is just finding a way to win a game this week, which is really the focus and the most important thing. And I'm not huge on individual things, stats like that, in case you haven't noticed. You're trying to win the game, and that's really the most important thing you can do is find a way to win a game each week, and this week, obviously, no exception. And certainly when you get to this time of year, you got to win or else you go home. So this is really what you do it all for, so we're excited.
Zane Gonzalez hit that kick. He's the hero of Sunday's game. How happy were you for him, and what do you remember about your time with him?
I'm fired up for him. I think I say this all the time. I usually talk to the other team specialists before the game. I wish them the very best. I hope those guys play as good as they can play, and then I hope we play better, and that's really what the goal is. But I think as a competitor, you want your opponent to play their best game and have no excuses. I think Zane, he's a very good player. He's made a bunch of big kicks. He made a bunch of big kicks when he was at Arizona. And so I'm super happy for him that he made that one at the end there, and look forward to playing against him.
Back. Dan said that earlier in the week, I think he thought it was really close to breaking, a couple of those. Did you feel the same way, and just how good was it?
Yeah, super excited to get him back. Having him back there's nothing like that. He's an explosive player. He's super competitive. You could feel his energy and urgency on those returns the last game. We had 3 of them. One of them went for 0 yards, but the other one at 13 and 9. And it gives you a chance. I think everybody around him knows that. So obviously thrilled to have him back there. This should be a good opportunity. This team that we're going against, not that I'm big in the metrics, but according to my metrics, they're the best in the NFL. This Washington team on special teams, these guys are really good. And they do a great job really in all phases. Punt return, kickoff return. Their special teams coordinator is a guy I respect a lot, both personally and professionally. Larry Izzo played in the league for a long time, was a heck of a player. When I first got in the league, 2008, San Fran, we played at Candlestick against New England Patriots. He was on that team, played great against us. That's really when I first got to know who he was. And at that point in his career, he was already established. And then he went on to coach and has done a great job. Been in Seattle for a long time. We played them the last 3 years. When he was up there, he always does a good job with their units. Dan Quinn, man, he's a ball coach. I love the guy. When I was at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, this is way back, but I was coaching 1AA, and just north of us is San Francisco 49ers. He was a quality control coach, coaching D-line there. And we went up there. We got a chance to go up there because really the guy who I played for in college, Dick Tomey, he was an assistant on the staff at the time. And so he kind of got us in the building, and then we got a chance to talk to Dan Quinn on defense. I was coaching defense at the time. And he spent like all morning with us in a room, and he was going over everything: D-line play, arm bar, arm over, swim moves, all the different techniques that they use, and spent like damn near a whole day with us, our defensive staff from Cal Poly, and it was just incredible. And then he went on. He was in Seattle. I was in San Fran, and so we see each other twice a year or whatever while he was up there. But a hell of a football coach, man. A football guy, gets the game, loves the players, very passionate. And these guys play like that. So for us, I mean, this is like the ultimate. We're going against a great team who's really well coached. They got good players on special teams. They do a good job. I think we got a good group too. So we're excited to really play against these guys. Should be great.
So where do they really shine in your metrics? Like, what do they do so well?
They're all four, so I take everything into consideration. All four plus field goal block, takeaway, giveaway, field position stuff. It's all in mind. They're number one. We're two.
They're dominating the leaderboard.
Oh, we got a chance.
They dominate the leaderboard in special teams tackles. I mean, there's just the whole leaderboard's littered with commanders, including the top two guys. Like, is that just a symptom of they aren't afraid to kick off? They've kind of maybe figured that out or gamed that to their advantage?
Yeah, that would be a product of kicking a lot of returnable balls for sure. Yeah.
That they like giving the other team a chance to return. Do you like that as an opposing coordinator?
That's great. We'll take them. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're excited. Let's see what we get.
We asked Aaron about head coaching stuff in the show last night. I know you sort of said before you don't have those desires anymore. Is that still the case? And can you just explain why?
Yeah, I think when I was a young coach, I wanted to be a head coach. That's all I really wanted. And then really when I became a special teams coordinator in Philly, when I was younger, I still thought that I wanted to do that. And then as you're doing that job, or as I was being a coordinator on special teams and watching the head coach and all the stuff that they have to deal with and put up with, and I mean, I've told you before, the thing that I love the most is working with the players, and I love the meeting room. It's my favorite place in the building, is the meeting room when it's full of players. I get to coach every player on the team. I get to be involved with a lot of different aspects of the game: offense, defense, or offensive plays, defensive plays, offensive players, defensive players. And I really can't imagine not having that, to be honest with you. It's my passion. I'm trying to, my goal is to keep my job. And I mean that, these jobs are hard to get. I feel very fortunate to have the one that I have. It gives me a ton of fulfillment, and there's really nothing else that I'm looking for. I don't want to deal with all the stuff that the head coach has to deal with on a daily basis, because that would be probably my least favorite side of the game of football at this level, is a lot of what that guy has to deal with all the time. So that's really it for me. I mean, if somebody said, hey, man, you have to do this for me, and it was somebody I knew really well, I don't know, maybe, but other than that, there's no way. So I don't see it happening, obviously. But I love what I do. I love the players. I love being around those guys. I love teaching football and coaching football, and being in the meeting room with them, being on the field with them, watching guys improve, watching guys reach their goals and dreams, and achieve things that they might not have thought possible at one point, or helping them get there along the way. So, I don't know.
John Harbaugh's had a lot of success. I mean, where's he got an opportunity this year that because you interact with so many people, because of the role that special teams coordinators can make pretty good coaches?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, it's an interesting thing, because, I think what happens, it happens in every profession, but it's like somebody does a good job, and then it's like, okay, well, what was that model? How did they do that? The Dan Campbell, is the head coach. Okay, we need to find the next, and people get it all wrong. I mean, the bottom line is the guys who do the best at the job, in my opinion, are like dynamic leaders. They're super smart in all phases. They know how to relate to a lot of different people and please a lot of different people. They know how to motivate a lot of different people. But it really comes down to less about The guy can call this play or that play. He's good on this side of the ball or that side of the ball. I mean, these guys are dynamic leaders who know how to handle NFL locker room. And so I think ultimately it really doesn't matter where they come from. People need to just look for the best leaders possible. And the problem is they look for the same formula as the last team that did a good job, and they don't realize that the things that makes that guy successful, like the Dan Quinn, that stuff that makes him successful, is probably more about the day that I was in there going over football with him and his passion and energy for the game. It's infectious, and he's super bright, and obviously those players feel all that energy and everything that he does. And so anyway, he's a great leader. You guys want to follow him. Obviously the exact same thing with Dan. But anyway, I do think that, it's a shame that special teams coaches don't get an opportunity because there's a lot of very good, talented coaches who are very dynamic and have to be in order to get that job done because you are dealing with so many different people on the roster. It's not necessarily the thing that those guys want to do first, cover a kick. They'd all rather be the starting safety and lead the league in interceptions than cover punts and kicks or block on return games. So I think a lot of those coaches, or there's a lot of coaches who coach special teams in the league who are very dynamic and should get an opportunity, but ultimately it doesn't work that way. So, it is what it is. I mean, this business is also the fans, and the fans got to vote, and they got to, be excited about it, and it's about selling tickets, and there's a huge business side of it too, so. What do you got?
I asked AG this question, I want to pose it to you. This team under Dan Campbell, just in general, has a reputation of being aggressive on fourth down. You've been a part of some of those decisions. Just what is it like for you in that moment, being a part of those calls and just seeing them come down the pipeline?
Yeah, really, that's all Coach Campbell, the fourth down decision-making stuff. What we're going to do, fake it, go for it, punt it, kick it. He really handles all that stuff, but we have a lot of trust in him, faith in him. I would say that during the course of the week, we get a pretty good idea of what it's going to be like going into that game in terms of how aggressive or how many chances we're taking and where we're going to take them. So I don't feel unprepared going into the game. I have a pretty good idea of what our plan is. And I think that's the one thing that he does an incredible job with. And I mean, I'm super fortunate to work for the guy. I love him to death. I think he's an unbelievable coach. But one of the things he does very best is he knows how to win a game. And he's not worried about what anyone thinks. And he knows exactly who the other team is and exactly what it's going to take. He'll come in during the week and say, this is how I see it going down, and damn near every time it's exactly like that. And it's like, damn, his ability to kind of predict how the game's going to go early in the week is better than any coach I've ever